Hey everyone, welcome back. We took a few weeks off because of the holidays, and I was at Vegas. I was in Vegas for the Consumer Electronics Show, which was glorious. Actually, was glorious. It was really cool. But unfortunately, my team caught the plague while we were there.
Oh, what the bird flu?
Dude, I don't know what it was. Like half my team was hospitalized. Like it was.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
yeah, no, like super sick. Me, I'm on the rebound now, but just like doing this podcast because we do it in the afternoon. I was like, okay, Tim, don't be late because
We
by
started early today.
by like in like half an hour or an hour I'm gonna be like, all right, time to go lie
Uh-oh.
down type of thing. So
Sure,
guys,
man.
so nothing new really happened lately. There's no news. We're just gonna talk about nothing, and yeah, right. So obviously the whole planet has been discussing the shadow drop release of the Nintendo Switch 2. And so what I thought we could do is like we could actually go through the video and just really quickly, nothing like ridiculous, sort of talk about like what was showcased there, talk about our thoughts. But I think the first thing I'd like to hear your thoughts about is why a shadow drop? Why do you
Well,
think they did that?
if you read some of the comments, I don't know if it's true, but FYI, guys, over the years, console reveals have been a pretty big thing and pretty hyped. This is probably the most lackluster one I've ever seen. Literally, it where like you said, it came out of nowhere, which sucks because they didn't hype it up like, oh, coming this date. Like usually they do like you remember past they'd have like a Mario hand and a shadow of something. So you're like, oh, look, you know what that's gonna be. None of that. Now, some people in the comments on the Nintendo's or YouTube kind of might be onto something, but we don't know. There was a lot of leaks leading up to
Yeah,
this, so it
exactly.
could have been Nintendo's like, oh well, f that. I guess we have to do something just to nip this in the bud. So it could have been something like a rush job where they just wanted to show something and then they put we have to wait like what 3 months, guys, before the any kind of real info. So at least we know it's coming out this year. The most lackluster on reveal or whatever you want. Yeah, so I don't know why they did that. Like I said, traditionally console reveals are hyped up at least what 1 or 2 weeks. They show like they've done the Mario shadowing, they've done Sony does their thing and stuff like that. So I don't know, I don't understand.
Well, I
And
have a
media out.
theory. I have a
Okay.
theory. I think it's because like for guys like if you know Nintendo, you know they love control,
Yes,
and
exactly.
they
Yes,
were
that.
clearly pissed off that everything leaked. Like
Yeah,
literally everything leaked. My running theory is just like they wanted some semblance of control, and by doing this, it was like their way of controlling kind of the hype. Because the thing is, like to your point, if they would have teased this, knowing that there was no surprise, that could have
it
been
would
a
have been.
double-edged sword, right? Like there could have been a lot of people been like, well, why the hell did you hype that up? We already knew everything.
Yeah.
So I think, like honestly, I think it was like the lesser of two evils. It was either we've lost control, like we know we've lost control, everything's got leaked, like it got leaked like a week before the announcement and stuff, and I think they just sat there and they were like, okay, well look, clearly someone in our inner circle leaked everything. So do we take the chance now of hyping people up only for there to be zero surprises, or do we just shadow drop this and at least we control the shadow drop, and like
I think that's exactly what it was. Yeah. I mean the it's still Nintendo's vein that they've been using their kind of theme for the last little while where they showed the Switch morphing into the Switch 2. That was cool. But yeah, you're right. It could have been done much, much better. And I think this was like just Nintendo, like you're like, oh well, F and A, man. Because yeah, they were very upset. By the way, did you see the mock-ups at the consumer show? Did you see them?
I did. Yep, I
Oh,
saw
that's
them.
cool.
And
So
that's the
it's
thing.
supposed to be the size of the device is pretty substantially bigger, right?
Yeah, it is substantially bigger. Like the minute I saw that, I was like, it's too good. You know what I mean?
I can't wait, man.
You and I have been talking about like the billions of leaks, and I always tell you the same thing. I'm like, dude, when it's out, it's out. I don't trust any of these things.
But this time they were actually right.
Well, no, yeah, but look at what happened. You had like six different sources that were corroborating the same thing over and over and over and over. And that's what I was telling you was like the minute you start to hear the same thing over and over and over, that's where you're kind of like, oh, okay. Like,
there's too much consistency, too much, And another thing too is maybe this will be a lesson to Nintendo's like, don't be so control hungry, man. It's like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, man. I mean, it's like they're so old school in their ways, and it's like you and I always have this discussion. It's like Nintendo's. It's amazing they're still around when they're like their mindset's way
yeah. I mean, like,
times,
look,
but they're doing something right. Guys,
well, yeah, obviously, and I love that they like to shock fans. Like I love that. And look, guys, like I am disappointed that this got leaked because the whole announcement was lackluster to me.
It was lackluster, man.
But we knew everything. If we didn't know every single thing, then maybe I would be a little more like, oh, okay, like cool or whatever. But anyways, okay, so let's go through this. So the little trailer.
Why do you share your screen? Oh, dog's going. But you could share your screen so we could all see it. No.
Not if I do it through OBS. I'll have to do another.
And
I got to be careful because I'm not sure. I don't know about copyright stuff. I don't want to get flagged. Nintendo.
Let me let the dog in real quick. You hear him probably.
Well, that's okay. I'll just start with the. So the way it started, guys. I'm sure you've seen it, but it's only 2 minutes and like 20 seconds or so. So you see like the original Switch, and then the Joy-Cons come off on the side, and then you see the screen. The screen gets slightly bigger, and then they do like this like overview sort of thing where they're showing you like some of the new components of the hardware, like where the buttons are going to be. There's now 2 USB-C ports, so one on bottom for where you dock it, one at the top.
On top.
I thought that was interesting. That could be for peripherals. It could be for charging. It could be for, like a number of things, so that like if you want to plug in and charge and continue to play, it's a lot easier if it's up top than at the bottom sort of deal.
Maybe it's for. I was going to say too. You do know that the Joy-Cons are going to be used like a mouse. I was wondering what your take on that is.
Yeah, hold up.
Oh, am I jumping the gun?
Yeah, exactly. Jeez.
Oh no.
So anyways, yeah. So they show some of that stuff. Then they show like the stand, and the stand looks like it can go like crazy far back, which is cool. And then
it doesn't look too sturdy though. But
yeah, I mean, we'll see. Then they focus in on the Joy-Cons, and you see them like flip to solid colors, and then they get a little bit bigger, and then they get like sort of like this protrusion that sticks out a little bit, which is great because it means that the buttons on top are going to be easier to hold. And then to Tim's point, you can clearly see like a little optical window, which if you take a look at your mouse, it looks exactly the same thing. And that's what Tim's talking about there. And they even showed like they sit in some kind of like structure that you then see them with their like little Joy-Con, what are they called there? The little wristband things, and they look like mice with little tails as they're like racing along. That could be really cool. I always wonder with those types of things about implementation because you don't play, typically your Switch or your console at a computer desk. So like what are you exactly
that kind of makes me wonder. Maybe those will be some niche games because Nintendo likes to do that, which they will be the only ones supported. Maybe there'll be some third parties as well, but end up being forgotten like all their gimmicky stuff. But I don't know, man, because it's supposed to be a mobile system. What are you going to do? How can you're going to hold it one hand, much bigger system by the way, and then do this, or is it supposed to be you put it on the table? You're right. That kind of defeats the purpose of mobile. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll
But
see.
it's at least
We'll
it's
see.
interesting to see that they're kind of going for that. Maybe it's for first person shooters. You never
Yeah,
know.
the only thing again, first person shooters. Look at like the. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll
I
have to
don't
wait
know.
and see.
Yeah, exactly. I think for this feature, I think 100%. Like we wait and see. The other thing that I thought was like a little bit sneaky is there's I think it's on the right Joy-Con. There's a new square button in all
Yeah.
the leaks. It's has a C written on it. And what did they do in the video? They photoshopped out the C. And it's like, okay, guys, come
Wonder what
on,
that.
like, come
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
But don't know what that is. To be
We'll have
honest,
to
I
wait
have
and
no
see.
idea what that is because we already have a capture, so it can't be that. Not entirely sure. I don't know. I like the look. I find it looks
Yeah, it
much
looks
more
sexy,
sleek.
man.
Much more sleek.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm a little bit perplexed, and maybe you won't see it. And if you don't see it, totally cool. It's all good. Ignore what I'm about to say. But because the colors, so like left one is blue, right one is red, but they're not just colored on the outside, like of the Joy-Con, but the
They're colored
inside
too.
of the system. So what happens when they sell you purple ones? You're gonna have a red insert and a purple. Like I'm
Yeah, who knows? But this obviously allows them to be able to sell a lot more variants of skins, right? If you're orange lover, yellow lover, blue lover, teal lover. So now that you actually see the color on the Joy Cons, that's going to make it. I'm a pro controller player. I've never played with the Joy Cons. The only time I ever did was, as a matter of fact, they still need some firmware upgrades. I never even had them hook up to the Switch. It's always docked. I never play mobile, but I've never. Only time I did the Joy-Con was initial setup because it has. If I remember right, it makes you touch the screen and Joy-Cons and all that. But yeah, I'm a pro controller, which I hope my current pro controller works with the Switch too. I'm pretty sure it will.
You're on drugs, no chance.
No,
But no, maybe. But yeah, they showed the dog bone controller again. The little, I forget what it's actually called. Where they slide in to the. I don't know what the hell it's called. But the big surprise for me with that, I really thought they were gonna angle them a little bit more or something, but no, it's exactly the same as the Switch One, which I hated, which is why I bought the Pro controller. I just didn't like the fact that it was straight down. All the other controllers you're angled, so you can easily position your arms sort of like on your thumbs on a diagonal instead of up and down. That's the main thing I dislike about that. But hey, whatever. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You just mentioned that they're magnetic. That's the other big. That's the big thing. But honestly, for all intents and purposes, this very much looks like a sleeker, significantly larger Nintendo Switch. And we got the trailer, not the trailer, but we got the logo reveal about maybe 3/4 of the way through, which is the exact same logo as the Nintendo Switch, except you now have a giant 2. And
this is actually, remember I told you this is a big thing because people, you youngsters might not know this, but Jarrod and I did. This is the first time ever Nintendo's ever made a system named. I mean, there was the NES and the Super NES. That's about as close as you get.
No,
right?
I think the closest,
but
the closest was
Wii
U and DS and 3DS. That was the closest.
Yeah, but those weren't named. They were close, but they were never. This is the first time we actually get a numerical. So maybe going forward, we'll have the Switch 3, the Switch. Well, yeah, who knows? By then, cell phones will be more powerful than handhelds, right? So who knows how long consoles are going to be around in the long term anyways. So they keep saying that consoles are going to be a thing of the past, but, they're still kicking around now.
There'll be Switch 15. Don't worry about that. The thing that I thought was really interesting with this, I mean, we've talked about that. You and I have talked about this. Ahmed and I have talked about this. Steven and I have talked about that. We've all talked about this. And I honestly think this was the smartest play. I know it's safe. I know it's very, very safe. But after the disaster
But
of
the
the
Wii
Wii
U.
U, if I'm Nintendo, this is exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, they are playing it safe, and that's what some of the media outlets and analysts have been saying, that Nintendo's playing it very safe with Switch 2, and they said that's good
It is good.
because, yeah, it is good. A lot of people, for me, I like innovation. I like pushing stuff forward, and Nintendo's the exact opposite of that. I mean, yeah, they do got some good techs in their systems, guys. Don't get me wrong, but they're subpar in terms of visuals. And I remember where everyone's argument is gameplay is greater than visuals. But guys, how many times do I have to tell you? You can have both. You don't. You have to sacrifice one for the other. So that
I
excuse is
love
null
that.
to
I just
me.
love this.
Yeah, it's
Every
bullshit.
opportunity he
Bullshit. No,
mentions
it's
this.
true. But I'm not their target market. The only reason why I even got the Switch. Remember, I got it when it didn't come out. What, a year to 2 years after though? I got it when it had that revision. So
Yeah,
the
okay, so
Switch,
that was
whatever you want to call it. I didn't get it at launch, but a Switch 2 I probably will. But
And you know what he's going to do, guys? He's going to wait for a sale for Mario Kart
yeah, that's
9
never gonna
for
happen.
14 years.
I'm still waiting for a massive sale, like 90 or 50% sale on Mario Kart 8, but that's why I don't have the game yet. It's
so
ridiculous that they don't have good sales.
So funny, man. So funny. Anyway, so yeah, so I mean, I think when I saw all this, I mean, again, it all got leaked, but even if it didn't get leaked, I legitimately don't know what else they could do. I think this is the smartest thing. If the Wii U didn't happen, then maybe I would have taken a chance or something, but the Wii U did happen, and I think this is just the smartest, safest way of doing this, because even calling it like Super Switch or any of that, is it a Switch Pro? Is it whereas with this, it's just sort of like they're literally following what Sony has been doing for decades now, and it works, guys. Just slap a number on the damn thing and call it a day. And I like that. I think it's the safest, honestly. I think it's the safest bet. And
hey, even Microsoft doesn't do that, right? Each system's named something different. So
yeah, well,
I think it's better.
Microsoft is a whole other.
Yeah, and there's will be no confusion this time, guys. Switch to, okay, good. Everyone will know that's a new system rather than the Wii U. What is Wii U? An add-on? You remember that?
Oh yeah, well that's
yeah.
just...
What a disaster for Nintendo. But you remember I was telling you, history. If you look at Nintendo's history, they have one big hit with the Switch, then they flop, big hit, slop. So we'll see if the Switch 2 follows that trend. I don't think so.
Oh, I don't think so. Just based on the views, based on the trending, based on I'm like, I don't think so at all. I think this is going to be quite the success for them. Now, whether or not they're able to, get it to be as big of a success, that's a whole other story.
Oh no, I don't think they will. But I think it will be a very successful system. It'll do really well for them. But I don't see how they could beat Switch. I mean, Switch literally took over a PlayStation 2, right, for the most console sales or something like that.
Yeah, dude, like that. Yeah, I mean, but there's like it could sell as much as the Wii. You know what I mean? Which would be a phenomenal success.
Yeah, they'll be very happy with that. Yeah.
Like, so I mean,
but again, man, they showed that little glimpse. We'll talk about the Mario Kart glimpse. So we finally know.
I was just gonna transition to that. So okay, so guys, first things first. I always tell people this. It was less than 10 seconds, and it's crazy. There are already videos online that are like 3 hours long. Of people like
describing,
and it's just like, okay, we got a new Mario Kart. Why would they do that? Because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the number one selling game on the Switch. I forget what it's up to now. It's almost 70 million, I think. It's
insane. And you have to, I'm pretty sure you're going to bring this up. You do have to remember that game's old. It's a Wii U game,
it's 10
right?
years old. Yeah, it's a decade.
So it's not a brand new game, guys. And it didn't sell shit for the other system. So they made their investment in back return. Yeah, they did a little update. It does look better than the Wii U version, but let's make no mistake. It was just basically a port, a touch up, whatever. It wasn't like they had built from the ground up a whole new game. So it's been a long time since we've had a brand new Mario Kart. And continue. I hope you bring up some of the details that we Everything's speculation.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
there's some stuff that little glimpse does tell us, and I am really looking forward to.
Yeah, so
we'll see.
So there's a couple of things. I think the two big things is like just based on the placement of the racers. Like at the beginning of the trailer, it looks like now there can be up to 24 players. So that raises a lot of questions about, what is the online platform going to be like? And, there's lots of questions about that. Obviously we can't answer any of that. I was telling you before, like they got in hot water with one of the last, Mario Party games where they were using bots and stuff. And like, so players, are a little concerned. I'm not concerned about anything at this point. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, we just got the reveal. It looks good. The game looks good. Definitely sharper graphics and stuff like that. But I mean, it's a 10-second
year. Yeah.
Like let's everybody relax. And also comparing it to a 10-year-old game.
Yeah.
It's
of course it's going to look better.
You
did see when at the end when it pans out how big the courses are. That
I think that is going to be the sales pitch. The biggest Mario Kart ever. But yeah, like it's wide. Like the tracks are super super wide. And I'm not going to go into like because people are going ridiculous. Some are like, it's an open world game, and like, I'm like, okay, all right, people, relax.
It's a kart game. It's not going to be open world. I don't know who would that idea. I mean, more open world in the sense that it's more terrain. That's the only thing. But yeah, we'll see. Thinking of kart games. You remember the EA's Beetle Adventure that was back in the day? That I wish they redid that. That was such a fun game. It made me think of when you say open world because that was their pitch, right? Big open courses. Yeah, so take that with a grain of salt.
So, what else? I mean, from what we can glean from, like from the 3 seconds that we saw it, Donkey Kong has a new due.
He's supposed to be based on the movie. It looks like.
Yeah, that's what it looks. That's what it looks like. Except, like,
he does have his little handkerchief, whatever it's called, tie.
Yeah, he has this little tie.
Who knows?
But
but
Ahmed and I were talking about this, and it's like, it's interesting because it's as if with that one character, they seem to be a little bit confused on where they want to go.
Are you sure if they're confused?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You have to remember, dude.
They just
released. They
just released a brand new Donkey Kong game.
Yeah, they
on
did.
the old design. The new Super Mario, I forget what is Super Nintendo World or whatever the hell it's called there in Universal Studios or whatever. They just did the upgrade, and all the Donkey Kong stuff is the old Donkey Kong. So it's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
See. But at the end of the day, it's an opportunity for them to sell skins, which, like I said, Nintendo is an interesting company, guys. I mean, they did the DLC. They supported 8 substantially, but they have they have a few core games that we've discussed this many times on other podcasts, how live service games are extremely difficult to do. But Nintendo has this few series that literally beckons for them to be live service games, like Mario Kart, supporting it with new tracks that consistent every couple months, brand new skins. People eat this stuff up like candy, and Nintendo just doesn't do it. I don't understand that.
Dude, I'll tell you why.
Do they not? These investors not tell them, hey, your competition's kicking ass with this stuff.
70 million people paid full
But
price.
imagine if those 70 million people. Oh, no. Live service games tend to be cost. Not all of them are free to play, by the way. So,
no,
yeah,
I'm just saying.
They would have that sale plus a substantial amount more.
And they did with all the DLC they released. Like,
yeah, but that's paid DLC, right? And
that's
it's only
what I'm saying.
It's one-time fee, though. It's a one-time fee. I'm talking about every DLC being charged.
No, but what I mean is, dude, they probably made billions off of this.
Billions more.
I love this. We should actually see a comparison. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like one of the most successfully financial games ever.
Do they make more? Well, it could be for the Switch, but how does Mario Kart 8, you have to look that up for a future podcast, compared to the big live service games. Like, look at how Marvel Rivals right now is raking in tons of money, and their skins are like $20. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Jarrod. That
Yeah,
Nintendo's
but
just
what
missing out on
the thing is,
more.
again, it's like, why? We play by our own rules. We're
Okay, so
making
by the way,
gajillions of dollars,
in about
and
41 days, Monster Hunter Wilds come out. That's another game that beckons.
yeah, but
live service
dude,
account.
go pick a live service game you really like.
I
Pick,
am.
like
We're gonna
Marvel.
research that. We'll get back to you guys because.
Pick your Marvel game. I want to show you something.
But the quick thing though is, do we have official sales of
He's
income
ignoring
on?
me.
No. Do we have the sales, and what about the DLC sales compared to the unit sales of Mario Kart 8? We don't know. We don't have that information. So let's say only 25%.
Dude, stop. Listen to me. Take Marvel, right?
Okay.
That's a single game,
Right.
That publisher, who published that game?
NetEase Games?
Is it?
Yeah, NetEase is a Chinese developer.
Okay, so but it's Marvel like who owns that like IP.
Well, they don't own the
right?
game. It's just they license out the IP.
Yeah,
rights.
exactly. So what other Marvel games are out there?
Well, there's Marvel Snap. There's tons of Marvel mobile games. Some by NetEase, some by other stuff. A lot of Asian developers make them for some reason. I don't know. I guess because the mobile market's so big in Asia compared to here. There's of course Midnight Suns. There's tons of different Marvel games.
Yeah,
Not all
now
of them are gotcha.
Take all of that. What is the combined revenue that Marvel receives off that?
That's a good percent. We don't know those type of details. Is it a one sum up fee that they pay the license, or they have to continuously share?
No, for sure. Like, because what I'm trying to get at is Nintendo is making money hand over fist on every single thing they release. Everything.
Directly.
It's not a license. That's a direct in the bank, man. And it's
they do
every game.
They do license out to like Namco and some other.
Yeah, but
like
it's not the same thing. It's not a.
Oh.
It's not a. You're not doing like a license like that. They're doing like profit sharing and the whole thing, and like they still retain like full rights. So, anyways, I don't want to derail this whole conversation, but it's just like Nintendo is making so much money right now. It's unbelievable that I get it. Why would you even bother to take a chance? Like, why even take a chance?
Yeah, because you make a point. Because like back to Monster Hunter and Mario Kart, I don't know how many years. It's been over 10 now. 10 years between games is not really good, right? I mean, it's good for in the sense that we don't milk the franchise to death, which is good. I love that as a consumer. Bad in the sense that if they had like an Electronic Arts where they would do a real yearly release, they could be making even more. So it just shows you that it's interesting how Nintendo's so kind of old school and is extremely successful for them. But the same thing is they could be making. The thing is, point is like I wish that like with Monster Hunter, for instance, is every 2 years you get a new game, which is fine, but you restart your character every time. Wouldn't it be awesome, Jarrod, if you have a character like in World of Warcraft that you've had for 20 years? You just continuously have a game that is evolving, it gets updated, and you don't have to buy a World of Warcraft 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. That's what I mean. I like that.
And
like
I know
longevity.
that. I get that, but you will run into major problems with that, which is the problems that WoW has and all these other ones have, where you basically alienate an entire generation of gamers. Like, you have to think, like, WoW, how old is WoW now?
20 years now?
That's my point. 20 years. There's an entire...
But it's still huge.
There's an entire generation that is just playing video games for the first time right now. That is super intimidating.
Dude, it's amazing, to think that teenagers now were born after old World of Warcraft's older than that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But World of Warcraft and even EverQuest is still around and getting
Yeah.
updates, dude. So that's what I'm trying to tell you is imagine having a game that you pay well, you do have to buy the expansion, but they're not
I know,
mandatory.
but are you hearing what I'm saying? Like, it's a double-edged sword. While it's cool to a subset of gamers, you're also alienating a whole other subset of gamers where they're like, well, I've missed 20 years of history of this game. I'm not jumping in this crap now. Give me the sequel. I don't want to play. And that's the... That's the whole.
Yeah, but World of Warcraft gives you catch-up mechanics so easily, so I could
No, but I get it.
maybe.
I really do. I watched a great video about this subject, and I really do see both sides of this. Where
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I do
like,
too.
because it's so true. It's like I think of my nephews, right? Like by the time they are like really getting into gaming and stuff like that, you got to be kidding me. Like WoW's going to be 30 years old, and they'll never get into it because they're going to be like, well, are you kidding? Like this is my grandfather's game, sort of thing.
That's so
Anyway, so
funny.
back to Switch 2. They did a couple of things like to end off this trailer that I thought were really interesting, and I would like your opinion on this. I'm really curious about this. So it ends off with boom 2025. No surprise there for Jarrod. Then I swear to God, man, people, I'm sorry, I know for everyone listening, but man, people are stupid. Like, I could not believe how many people started saying, what? Because a little disclaimer pops up at the very end of the trailer, and it says Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games as well as Nintendo Switch games. Nintendo Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Nintendo Switch games. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. Details will be shared on the Nintendo website at a later date. I cannot believe how many people, well, this is BS. What? They lied. They this, they that, and
No, they
this
didn't
and that.
lie.
And I'm like, okay, people, for the love of God, did you watch the reveal of the hardware? I don't have a Joy-Con beside me to show you, but the infrared camera on the original Switch is not on the Switch 2. Take a wild guess which games will not be compatible with the Nintendo Switch 2. It's like, people, come on, man.
Yeah,
Like, use
just
your brain.
yeah, and if you think about, wasn't there DS and when they transitioned to the newer version, there were some games that were, I think, were limited as well, or other, stuff like that. So yeah, this isn't a new trend, and these are very niche kind of stuff. It's not, the bulk of your games are going to be fun. But Jarrod, one thing I can't wait for, once we get more information, and of course it won't be for a while because I'm pretty sure Nintendo's going to keep this close to their vest, is how is it our Nintendo account's going to port over? Are we going to be able to log in with our current Nintendo accounts and have
so.
like Apple, where we just download or re-download the games? It was funny. Some streamers made a joke. I don't know if they were joking. They said because Nintendo has some aggressive practices, and they think they're kind of, they go after like unofficial tournaments. They're very controlling.
Yeah.
We'll put it nicely, but
Yeah.
that's not what most people say about them. But the services are they wouldn't be surprised if you had to rebuy all your games on a Switch 2, but I don't think they'll do that.
No, I
That
don't
would be
think so.
ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be.
They said Nintendo's pretty scummy that they would do that, but nah. Nintendo,
No. Ever since they went to like the new platform that they have now, I'm fairly confident we're going to be probably limited in the amount of time. Like you're probably not going to have forever and ever and ever to like re-download all your stuff.
Yeah.
Things like that. So the thing that I'm rather curious about is what exactly happens to your old games. Because the Switch, it's kind of funny. The Switch is one of those systems where, dating all the way back to the PS2, when they introduced backwards compatibility with PlayStation 1, and they were like, oh, they run a little bit, smoother and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's my question too. What about the current gen? Are they going to have better frames? Yeah, you're right.
Well, especially with the Switch. So the Switch has been a funny system since literally day one, because with Breath of the Wild, there were already areas that the frame rates stuttered a little bit and stuff like that. I mean, look at Pokemon, where you're just like, holy
horrible.
crap!
Yeah.
So I'm really curious if it is still NVIDIA hardware. They have DLSS they could use. Like, there's a lot of things.
Now, traditionally with consoles, though, correct me if I'm right, the great thing about PC is you take said game, it runs flat. Let's say you have an older system, it runs bad frame rates, you have to downscale the visuals to make it playable, etc. You get a new PC, bam, it runs like silk. the thing is, the vendor or the developer doesn't have to patch. Sometimes there's some situations where they do, but most of the time, no. It's a seamless transition.
Yeah.
But with consoles, though, they usually have to patch the game in order to recognize the new hardware, etc. But I don't see developers going back for a 7-year-old Switch game and making a patch for it.
No,
Nintendo might, but most won't.
But
so
but that's what I want to see, right? Like that's exactly what I want to see is because it depends, because the hardware from all these leaks is it's still NVIDIA. So like in theory,
maybe it'll be seamless.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. They might be able to do something where it's just the minute you boot the game, it does a double FPS or
you see, and that's the beauty of PC versus console in the sense of tech, because consoles are limited, designed for per whatever gen or whatever it is, which is great in the sense that it tends to be more stable. Traditionally, even though console games are released in a buggy state these days now, so it used to be where it was rock solid, everything was optimized because it's a controlled environment. PCs, you don't have that, man, because you have people with high-end systems, low-end systems, and in between it. And a developer has to count all these different variables to make a code. And it's, so that's one thing I love about PCs is it's designed from the ground up for expansion, new hardware, while consoles are not. So.
And speaking of, we're almost done. I got one more thing with this reveal, and it's an important thing. But CES, we had the new graphics cards.
Oh, yeah.
So I expect you to get a 5090 and make sure you buy me one because, they're only like $7,000. So, yeah.
I don't know if people will buy those right away. Always wait, guys. You never have to. I used to be like that back in my 20s. I always have to have the cutting edge and buy premium. Now I was a bargain shopper, even though I could afford those high-end stuff. That's not the point. Why waste money? Because the visuals are low sharper frames per second, but you don't have to be a bargain shopper. So I love when people say, oh my god, I have to buy a high PC, it's gonna be so expensive. Nah, you could get PCs still overall do cost more than a console, but console, like, dude, they're $700-800 now. They're not that much less than the mid-range PC. So if you're going to get the two, I would get the mid-range PC, right? I'm not talking about high-end PC. Those will always be premium.
Yeah.
But mid-range, they're
even mid-range, even mid-range now, the graphics cards in general are just crazy expensive. Like it's nuts.
They're milking that. We need more competition in that field. We'll really have to. Intel keeps talking about it, but we haven't seen any of their stuff, and they got a huge mountain to even remotely be competitive with their competition. But that's what happens when you don't have enough competition. That's why I guess it's good that we have multiple consoles. Imagine if we only had one. Ooh, you have a $1,500 Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah,
you're paying $150 per game. Where are you guys going to go? You can't go anywhere. Competition's good. So.
Okay, so the final thing, and I got theories, but I'm curious to hear what you think of this. So the very last thing that popped on the screen is Nintendo Direct Nintendo Switch 2, April 2nd, 2025. Now, that's far away. That's
very
3
far
months
ridiculous.
away.
Yeah.
That's an entire quarter away. And that surprised me. I won't lie. That of the whole announcement, that surprised me because that's far. That's, and they also have, by the way, I can't believe I almost forgot this, these experiences that are going to be like April, some in May, I think some even in June. And this is like all over cities, all over the world to get your hands on Switch 2 for the first time and try it out. So if we couple these things together, if we couple the fact that this game reveal is only happening April 2nd, then we've got all these live events. When the hell is this machine coming out?
I say summer, man. Probably June, August, the latest August.
That's crazy.
Fall, stretching it a bit.
Like, to me, that
if they're gonna have hands on, then that means the games are virtually ready to go. So that's good. They're not gonna, Nintendo's very conservative. They're not gonna have a buggy piece of crap early access version of their games to showcase. So I would say if you're saying June,
Well,
up
let's
to
look
June or
here.
May,
Let's look. They have the hold on. Yeah, so here, like all of April is in the
right?
States. Let's learn more.
Yeah, it's just well, at least we know that the system's not coming out within the next 3 months, guys, right?
So yeah,
I kind of
it's definitely if it's gonna come out, I'd have to go to like Europe and stuff because I'm not sure about there. In the U.S., I think it looks like the last one is April 27th. But I do remember seeing some of them in May.
yeah. So the rumors have been pretty consistent, pretty comes out to be true. They said Nintendo's been working on ramping up production for a long time now. So if that's the case, this April might pull like an Apple and say, "Oh, guys, May, June, the system's out relatively quickly," rather than like a 6 month like window or something like that. I don't see it being out in fall. I think summer.
Yeah, no, me too, dude. I mean, I'll be honest. Like when I saw April, the first thing that popped in my head is the games aren't ready. Like the minute I saw that, I was like, they're not ready yet. Like that's too far.
Yeah, that in a show. I mean, like this lackluster console reveal. Then traditionally they always show their flagship launch title, and then they show various other projects they're working on, and sometimes they'll even add like third party as well. None of that, dude. So you're right. Maybe the games are not ready.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me. And guys, this is not us crapping all over Nintendo or whatever. I'm just like putting logic here, right? Like the only reason that you would push something that far out is that you don't feel confident in being able to say this is a day one release, that's a day one release, that's a month one release, that's a month two release. This way it buys you months to solidify like, okay, well, these are the three titles we want.
If these, yeah, it kind of goes back to what you said. If these leaks never happened, maybe April was when they were, not April, sorry.
Potentially.
April was when they wanted to do the whole big shebang anyways, and they were kind of rushed into it. So they're like, well, here, let's just throw the hardware out there, and then we'll, because, Nintendo, they're kind of structured, right? They probably don't like to deviate, or they're not very good at curveballs traditionally, so maybe that's it. And they just, well, we're going to stick to our effing guns. F you guys. Here, you're happy? There's your freaking Switch 2.
I'd love it. Wait like I'd love it if that was exactly what.
That's exactly what they're probably doing. Yeah, F you guys. You're still going to wait. Screw you. So it could be that. Who knows? We don't.
I was surprised.
I think it's a bad move personally, because how are we going to hype it up? Like people are going to, it's like obviously going to talk about it for the next 3 months, speculations, but it's like as a consumer, this is one of the worst console reveals I've ever seen from them. And they've done some cool ones in the past. Like, I mean, I bet their competition's laughing. Look at these idiots. They're not doing a good job.
Well, again, though, like you got to go by numbers, right? And this thing has already been viewed like 100 million times. I think that's a good sign that the interest.
Yeah, they're going to be fine.
The interest is there, but I will admit, like, I was very surprised. I was just very surprised that it was April. I was like, really? I thought for certain.
You have to make us wait that long? Dude.
Like I thought for certain it was going to be in February sometime. And then, you have your hardware reveal. Nintendo doesn't want to do exactly what they did with the Switch. Totally understand that. So you're doing something a little bit different. You're focusing on the hardware first, and then you're going to do this big blowout of all the games. Cool. Like, awesome. But yeah, that was really surprising. And I tried to spin it in any like positive way I could. And I was just like, the only thing that I kept coming back to was I was like, I don't think the games are ready. It's the only logical explanation for why you would 3 months. Like that's a long way out.
Unless they want to give more time to their publishers or to, come up with good games, or that they feel that they're in a ready state. Who knows? We don't know.
Well, that's the thing.
So and look, it'd be interesting, guys. I can't wait for this year to see what they have cooking. We've talked many times how I would love to see like Animal Crossing. They're going to be an Animal Crossing, probably not year one, though. Probably next year or the year after. This another huge successful game, which makes you dig the differ. Will Animal Crossing, whatever it is on Switch 2, be as successful because the pandemic helped that game sell substantially? So, But cozy games tend to be very popular, so I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. But I don't have any high expectations other than maybe one new feature and nothing else. That series, guys, could be so much
I
better
just
if Nintendo.
love this
No,
guy.
but come
So
on, Jared.
funny.
The competition doesn't. The main look at Blizzard. Remember when Blizzard was such a great company? Now the competition just does it better than they do. There's nothing special about Blizzard anymore. They used to have the edge of taking their time and gameplay first, like Nintendo, and release a polished product. But now their games are freaking buggy pieces of mess. Hearthstone has a lot of issues right now. Even World of Warcraft, which traditionally was very stable, a lot of issues. And then their big mobile thing that they tried to do would kind of have been a failure is Warcraft Rumble, which is an extremely frustrating buggy mess. People literally lost progression in their profiles. And look that up. And it's just, Blizzard's not the company that they used to be. But it's because their competition just does it better. So.
Let's see. I am very curious to see this reveal because there is one game.
Which game?
That I am wondering if we will see.
Dragon Quest X? Switch 2?
Not 10. Are you 10? You're dreaming. No, but 12. Like, will we see Dragon Quest 12 on April 2nd?
Oh, I'm sure. No, I doubt it. Maybe.
Oh, you never know, man.
Maybe. Would that be like a year one title for Switch?
Doesn't need to be year one.
There's no way.
No, it doesn't need to be year one.
There's no way it's a launch. Dude, if it was a launch title.
Yeah, no, no.
That's not happening.
Yeah, that's not
but
happening.
Maybe. I think you're getting your hopes up too high. But I am extremely interested to see what Square Enix will do for Switch 2 because they supported Switch 1 so much with some huge gems on that system. I'm anticipating they're going to do the same with the Switch 2. But they've done such great RPG games on that platform. And see, I think you're getting a little ambitious, Jared. And traditionally, I don't think Square kind of ties their well, sometimes they do. They don't tie their games really with a launch or association with.
No, it's not about the launch. It's not about the launch. It's just that, like, the very first Nintendo Switch game that we knew about, the very first one was Dragon Quest XI.
Maybe they'll repeat. Yeah, because we need Dragon Quest 12 info, dude. It's been nothing. How many years has it been since they?
God, 5, I think 5 or 6.
Yeah,
now,
that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I mean, we know that behind me, we know that we've got the remake of 1 and 2. Obviously, that will be on the Switch 2. That's like a no-brainer. But no, I'm just, I'm desperate for information. I don't expect it to be like, oh, here, it's coming out tomorrow. But no, of course not.
Now,
it's not that. It's just, it would be cool to hear them say the words.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, something. Do you think, to be honest, well, besides the platform Switch 2, that doesn't matter, will Dragon Quest 12 be released this year?
Oof.
You think?
I don't know, man.
I don't
like
think
my
so.
my hope is that we just get it mentioned this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because we already have a Dragon Quest game for this year, so I'm all right with that. Like, we already have Dragon Quest 1 and 2 are going to be coming out, the remake, so, like, I'm cool. That's fine. I don't need Dragon Quest 12, but I do need to know, like, is it ever, like,
when is it going to happen?
What the hell is happening here? So,
and thinking of which, so let's talk about, since we're not quite an hour, we'll finish the next 10 minutes or so. Switch 2, obviously, we know it's happening this year. We obviously have Mario Kart 9, which is awesome, stuff like that. But what top 5 games, I can put you on the spot, you want to see on the Switch 2?
Let's see here. I would really love to see, a couple of things. So I would love to see F-Zero come back. It's been like 20 years or something now.
Yes.
Like, I would love to do that. I'm good with Zelda for a while. I don't need a new Zelda. I'm good with that. Mario Odyssey was phenomenal, so I would love to see another 3D Mario. It doesn't have to be year 1. I don't, it can be a little bit like year 2, year 3, something like that. I'm all right with that. So F-Zero, a Mario. I'd love to see them do something with either, like, Fire Emblem has been doing really well over the last,
of course, I would love to,
over the last little while, but I kind of feel like the Wars series
I was going to mention that on my list. I'm glad you brought it up. I want a true Wars,
like I would love to see, like, like they had such a good thing going, and it's like the series Nintendo, exploded in popularity and then it just stopped.
Yeah, and that's not just that series, guys. It's just, I don't understand. It's like Sega too. It's like they have these huge amount of beautiful IPs that they never do anything with, right?
So I mean, like you're saying top 5, so the other 2 I would reserve for. I'd like to see some new games, like just new IPs. Because like I know Mario Kart's coming. I know we're gonna get another Pikmin. I know we're gonna get another Zelda. I know we're gonna get another Metroid and blah 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 blah. So there's no point in, like, we know that this is all gonna come, but I like Nintendo every once in a while they'll release a new IP and you're like, hey, that was pretty damn good. Splatoon, people loved that.
Oh yeah. You see, I guarantee that's been extremely successful. I guarantee we'll have another Splatoon.
But that's the thing. Like, I would like to see, something new. Like, just, like Golden Sun. Okay, like I'd love to see them do a brand new role-playing game, even if it's not like, it doesn't have to be Golden Sun, but like that kind of stuff, like let Camelot make a role-playing game
rather than their
Anyway, that's it. What about you?
Okay, so you did bring up some key stuff, like of course obviously a new Mario would be great. I want definitely a new IPs, like you said. I would love to see them kind of venture out that. I also would love please Golden Sun sequel, a true sequel to F-Zero. I would love to see another Star Fox. I think that series could do wonders.
Yeah, it's been a while.
True multiplayer online. Look at how successful Helldivers 2 is. Helldivers 2 is a third-person shooter. Star Fox is the third-person shooter. Obviously, one's on the ground, one's in the sky, etc. They could do substantial amount of stuff. I would love them to partnership with Sega again to make, because I just think Sega did an excellent job with F-Zero. If you can remember that, I think that was the last true F-Zero, right?
Yeah,
it was one by Sega, right? So I would love Sega to do that, but that's like all hearsay. But I also would love them to bring back like Wave Racer, man. You remember that game?
Oh wow,
that game, dude.
Yeah.
So I would love them to kind of revisit, obviously, a great Pikmin. I want to see them, their current, IPs that they work. I would love them to take them to the next level, where like Animal Crossing, where you have, expansions and you can continue buying real estate and expanding your island to others, managing multiple islands or whatever you want to call it, not just be limited to one. And for all intents and purposes, please let us have one more than one file save. Come on, dude. Man, was it Steven who joked about that did that so they could force people to buy more Switches, which I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm basically on there with you. I would also like to see more collaboration with their publishers and partners, stuff like that. I would love to see them kind of be. That's what I hear they're doing. They're going to kind of like offshore or outsource a lot of their development, which kind of makes you wonder. Like Nintendo doesn't really make that many games, right, for their system. So I'm with you on that, dude. I would like to see some of these retro games, stuff like that, come back. So it would be nice. But yeah, Golden Sun, of course, I would want another Mario and Luigi. That series, I'm glad that we got the new brothership. I'm glad that they haven't abandoned it. It's a very fun series. So that's basically my list. Virtually almost identical to yours, just a little bit. Love to see Star Fox. Would love to see Wave Racer. Maybe even, what was that snowboard game too?
1080.
That's a little niche. But 1080, there you go. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah,
Maybe
no, like,
happy.
Dude, I was thinking of something else while you were talking. I was like, this is actually a transitionary year for them, because this is kind of like when they went from SD to HD. If it's true that this system will do 4K, that's a lot of assets, man, at high quality, and like this could be another reason why they pushed it out a little bit. That's actually interesting. We're gonna have to take a look at that, because it's true that once you do that, games take longer to develop.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, even Nintendo said that the games going forward are going to take longer to develop. So yeah, maybe that's part of it. It's just not ready.
Yeah,
so if that's the case, if games aren't ready, maybe we won't be summertime. It'll be fall or winter. But we'll wait, guys. We'll wait.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think personally, I think we'll find out. We'll find out. I think now that this reveal happened, I think slowly but surely you're going to see more and more and more and more and more and more and more happen. And look at that. Perfect timing, guys.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, Tim. Well, thank you very much. That was a great podcast. Guys, let us know what you think of the Nintendo Switch 2.
And what your top 5 games or series that you want to see on the Switch. So that we're curious on that because everyone has different taste. So yeah.
And we know what Steven's
Mario,
is.
Luigi Mansion. I would like. I like that game series. Luigi Mansion, and the last one had some decent multiplayer. So maybe they could build on top of that. Another Luigi Mansion, which I'm sure it will, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Stevens is Pokemon.
Well,
and Pokemon,
we didn't mention that
like...
because I mean, what idiot on earth doesn't realize that will be one of their flagship titles?
Well,
I mean, you don't even have to mention
it. Pokemon Day is before April 2nd.
Will they? Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, now, it is interesting.
Next Pokemon will be on Switch, so they probably won't have any time on Switch 2. Maybe they'll talk about that runs better on the Switch 2. I could see them maybe saying that. But the current next whatever generation we're on now, I think it's 9 or 10, I don't know. I don't keep up like Steven. It will be on the Switch. Make no mistake. There's no way it'll be a Switch 2 exclusive.
So there we go, guys. All right, leave a comment, and we will catch you next week. Take care, everyone.
Thanks.
Ciao.